My name is Rachel Rofe. I created this show because I wanted to help you see that if you have a choice, you can choose a better life. If you're listening to this podcast, you're in a pretty fortunate position. You have free will, ability to connect to the internet, and access to all kinds of new education. This podcast is meant to help you make the most of your good fortune. We talk with all kinds of people here from all walks of life because I want you to see that no matter what your situation, there's always a way to create a life that you're proud of. Hello. So today's episode is on if you work with clients and you want to raise your rates, how you can do that without losing your current clients. And I know this isn't something I talk about too much on this podcast, but I was going through my blog and just looking at some of the most popular posts, and this was something that people were really interested in. It got a ton of likes, and it was actually a blog topic that was requested. So as you know, if you listen to my other podcasts, I mention all the time that I love when you give me some ideas of things that you'd like me to podcast about, because I just want to make sure that, I'm serving exactly what you want. So anyway, I had written this post about how to raise prices, and I thought I would read it here and just riff off of it a little bit so that hopefully it helps you. Even if you don't have clients now, if you are thinking about potentially working, like if you have a normal job and you're thinking about working for yourself, then I think this will still be helpful for you, because I think one of the best things you can do if you want to work for yourself is to start off with services instead of going right into an information product or physical products or things like that. Because when you offer services, it's a really quick way to earn money, it's high leverage, it's just the best way to make kind of fast cash. And there's all different kinds of services that you can offer. So it really just depends on your skill set. So, for example, when I first started out in business for myself, one of the things that I started doing was writing for people. So I did a lot of copywriting, which was like marketing writing. So you would go to different people's websites, and I would have just different pretty much sales in print to help people go and sell their different courses. So that was really great. And when I first started, I think I charged $100 for my first sales letter, and then I worked up to $5,000 a letter pretty quickly, actually. So that was really good. There's also other services like writing articles for people, writing blog posts for people, graphic design, virtual assistants. You can work with clients that are kind of brick and mortar kind of businesses and help them get more exposure online. So there's all different types of things that you can do, but just a really great way to bring in that quick cash, like I said. For me, I started out when I was writing sales letters for $100, and I usually recommend that other people start off low too, lower even than they think that they should be making, just because it helps you start to get feedback, it helps you get some practice, get testimonials, and I just think that especially when you're beginning, I think a lot of people start getting worried about, am I doing as good of a job as people who are experienced? And so when you go and you start low, it just makes you feel better about pretty much dipping in the pool. After you pay your dues, after you get a bunch of clients and you get good feedback, then you can move upwards. So when you want to move upwards and you want to raise your rates, here is a great strategy. So here's where I start reading the blog post. Step 1, start with the end in mind. So first thing is figure out how much money you want to be earning and how much time you're willing to put in for it. For example, maybe you're making, let's say, $3,000 a month now, but you want to be putting in less hours than you are. That would be one thing. Maybe you want to earn an extra $1,000 a month and you don't want to change the amount of time that you're working now. Time's fine, but you want a different amount of money. So figure out exactly what you want to be making and how much time you're willing to work for it. So this way you don't have some kind of arbitrary number. You're starting to actually define your target hourly or project rate. And this way you'll be able to have solid reasoning for exactly what you want to earn, and you'll be able to feel more confident asking for it. You're not pulling this number out of anywhere. It's exactly what you need to be able to live out however you want to live out. Step 2 is document why your services are worth more than what people are paying. Anything that you have, like testimonials, results, case studies, before and after pictures, if you're a coach, whatever it is, that clients and you, your confidence, have a reference point as to why you should be paid more. I'm going to go over this more in a minute here. The next thing you can do, step 3, is think of perks that you can add on to your existing services. So if you want to raise your rates with your existing clients, of course, people are going to feel a sense of loss if you ask them to pay more when they haven't been paying that much and getting the same amount of work. Of course, you'd feel the same way if someone asked you out of nowhere to just pay more for what you've already been getting. So ask yourself if there's something that you can do that'll make your clients feel like when you raise your rates that they're going to gain something too. First of all, to get you thinking about this, think about related things that your clients need when they purchase from you. So for example, if you're a writer, your clients are going to want the writing, but they're probably also going to need to get books designed or blog posts, have pictures for them. Or maybe if you write books for them, get them formatted and put onto Kindle or ranked on Kindle or different things, or blog posts to promote their books. So you can add those things on. If you're a designer, then your clients will probably need content to show off on their sites, or maybe some kind of social media page design that's congruent with their new look. If you're a virtual assistant, then there's tons of tasks that your clients would love to outsource to you but don't think that they can yet. So it could be making phone calls for them or writing blog posts, just all different types of things. And you can normally find something in any kind of service. I was actually talking to somebody who does eyelash extensions a while ago, and she asked me what she could do to raise her rates. And so some of the perks that I talked to her about were she could offer maybe a complimentary hair blowout or eyeliner that works with the eyelashes because it's a special type of eyeliner, maybe a more flexible schedule so people can come in without having to book so far in advance because she was really busy. Or, one thing that pretty much would work in almost any industry would be to have people on call during certain hours so they didn't have to wait around. So if they wanted someone to be available between, let's say, 8 and 5, that might not be something you want to do. It might be something that would justify raising your rates. It's just an idea. You could also even just ask your clients, like, well, what's something that I could do that would make your life easier, and ask them for feedback and see what they say. A lot of the perks that you might think of are going to cost money. So that's fine, because the idea is for you to work those perks into your pricing so that you still end up hitting the target rate that you want while inflating the value to your client. And that's, again, another reason why it's so important for you to know what your target rate is so that you can speak to it intelligently. Step 4 would be identify your client's return on investment of working with you. So the return on investment might be something monetary. In my example, when I was doing the copywriting, people would go and make $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 from the sales letters that I was writing. So it was very clear to see a return on investment. It might be something where it's convenient. So maybe you're saving them X amount of hours. It could be also convenient as far as you've worked with somebody for a while, you know their preferences, it's easier for them, it's easier for you. The ROI could also just be something that's emotional, so maybe they feel more beautiful when they work with you, or your techniques help their long-term well-being, or maybe other people's don't, or you're able to kind of speak their language. So for example, I worked with a health coach I just loved working with because she was very much adjusting to what I needed, which I really liked. She didn't have these set rules, so it was very much flowing with me, which is just phenomenal. So when you were going through in step number 2 and you were just looking through all the different things to see why your services are worth more than what people are paying, you should have gotten some really good ideas here. Step 5 would be, before you ask, we're going to have you think of taking precautionary measures. So after you do everything that I've already said, your next step is going to be to ask, but I want you to have a backup plan just in case. Yes, there's magic that comes from acting a little outside of your comfort zone and everything may be aligned great, but to create a backup plan just in case, a couple things. First of all, if you can take on new clients right now, like if you aren't at your max of time, take those people on at your higher rate. So this way you have some consistent income, you have clients that are paying what you think you're worth, and then you'll be able to tell your other clients truthfully that you're worth whatever you think you are and that people are paying for it. Another thing is, if you can't take on new clients, then start a waiting list. So if for some reason your clients say no later on, then you'll have people you can go back to. And or if you can save up some money before you go for the ask, then do that too. It's not necessary, but just something for your peace of mind. So after you do all that, then you can just ask, right? At this point, you've done a lot of homework. You know what your target rate is. You know why people should work with you. You know the value that you're bringing to them, how you can add even more value to your services so that you're approaching things from a win-win perspective and not just a win on your end. So you've really got a lot of thinking accomplished. So by the time you've done all this, you should feel really confident that your services are worth the price increase. So ask. Just say something like, I'd like to discuss our working together. I've loved working with you so far, and judging by your feedback, I'm pretty sure that you have too. Just mention then some of the feedback that they've given you. So maybe, you've told me I was the best writer you ever hired, or you made $30,000 from my sales letter. You said I've done the best job anyone ever has, or you lost 20 pounds. Whatever the benefit is, that's their feedback that they're getting results from you. Then, since we started working together, I've been restructuring my business so it's even better for you. Based on either what they've said, what other clients have said, I've decided to add X service into my package, so whatever the service you decided to add on is. This helps you save whatever it is, time, money, anything, plus it makes it easier for you overall. I'm also changing around my pricing structure. My rates are going from whatever it is to whatever it will be, effective whenever it will be effective. I'm becoming much more selective about the types of people I work with. I chose this rate very carefully, making sure your return on investment was still high. Then you could mention the return on investment. Again, you make $20,000 each time I write you a letter, or you save X hours every time you pay X, or you've told me you feel more confident than you have in years, which is priceless. So whatever the return on investment is, just remind them of that. And then you say, and then of course you'll also have whatever the other benefit was, so mention whatever that benefit that you came up with was. Like I've said, I've thought this out carefully to make sure you have a positive return on investment from working with me. And if for some reason this doesn't work for you, I'll be happy to refer you to someone who might be a better fit. And as a side note, you could also say, you don't have to say this part, but as a side note, I've been thinking about your business that I also think I can help with. And if there's anything else that you think you can help with, then mention that there too, because that's just going to make you look even more awesome. Then say, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm looking forward to an even brighter relationship together. So that's a really good template. This is going to be in the show notes, so you can just copy and paste it if you want, or just use it as a template. I created this script because I think it has a lot of important elements in it. So we mentioned, again, the return on investment that people are getting, so they don't feel the pain of loss. Also mention that you're giving them something else. So again, they don't feel a pain of loss. You are giving a specific time for when your rates are going up, so it's not something that's ambiguous or is able to be negotiated, and you're clear that that's what you want. So you're not going to go and, like, if they say they don't want to pay it, then that's it. So you're just going to be really strong about what you want. And then step 7, just be okay if they say no. If you state the email well enough from your client's perspective and you really take them into consideration, a lot of people are going to understand. Some might not. Some people only care about the bottom line. Usually those people aren't as fun to work with anyway. If they say no, a couple things you can do there too. Number 1, you can just ask your client flat out, what would make it worth it for you to pay me X? And at this point, you have nothing to lose because you have to be ready to let them go. You could, if you really needed the cash, do a closeout special, offer prepaid blocks of time to your current clients as you hustle to find new clients. Or, just stick to your desires even when it's tough and just hold out that someone better will show up. If you've already done the prep work and you know your services are worth charging more, then hold to it. Know your worth. You found clients once and you can find them again. I know for me, whenever I really hold to my desires, I just feel supplied with everything that I need to fulfill them. And when I'm not sure, when I waver, that's when I don't get everything that I want. That, of course, does not mean just make your desire stay put. You're still going to hustle. You'll still look to find new clients, update your websites, ask for referrals, post job ads, hustle, do everything you need, but also just be really clear that you're not going to work for lower than you're making right now. Just having that faith and self-assuredness really goes a long way. Like I said, just starting out, services are a really, really great way to go. And I think this will just provide you a really good blueprint with, as you grow, how you can take other people along with the ride and have them feel considered too. I hope this helps. If you liked this episode, then please leave a comment on rachelrofe.com or reach out on social media. Let me know so I know if you want more episodes like this. Thanks so much. Have a spectacular day. Thank you so much for listening to A Better Life. You can find all show notes for this episode at rachelrofe.com. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe so you can automatically get access to all new shows. Let's also connect. Just go onto Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram /RachelRofe and we can talk there. The opinions of all guests here are their own, and I'm not necessarily endorsing any of them. I do want to give you perspective though. And always remember, if you have a choice, choose a better